Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Stacy. I'm coming to you from Detroit, Michigan, where I live with my husband Doug, our daughter Eliza, and our pug Esther. Today is July 30th, 2022, and I'm filming right after I put Eliza down for the night. Doug is outside mowing the lawn, and our neighbors are having a party, so if you hear any like merriment happening, that's what that noise is. So it's not a big deal, just neighbors. So let's see. Last time what we chatted, I talked to you about what's been going on because it had been a while, but I'm back to my regular filming schedule, which is at the end of the month, to talk about what I have been making in that month. So this is July makes, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about my plans for August. That's a helicopter. So today has just been pure chaos. This is the third time I've tried recording, and we just got back from dinner. We went to what's it called, Detroit Shipping, and it's this building of shipping containers with a bunch of food stalls in it, and it was really good, but a bird pooped on my food. I had a chicken sandwich and some Brussels sprouts, and they pooped on my food. The birds pooped on my food. So Doug and I split his chicken sandwich, and Eliza ate a bunch of French fries, and we got her some nitro ice cream, which was really cool. Doug and I have heard a lot of things about it. We've never been before. It was really good food, but just a little pricey for what it was, but it was really good. It's kind of in the Wayne State area. If you're in Detroit or Metro Detroit, I think it's worth checking out. Probably a lot better without bringing a 4-year-old. But it's cool. They have like a sand volleyball pit and some like yard games out in the back. There's outdoor seating and indoor seating. I don't know, it was a pretty cool place. Yeah, we ate at Coop, which is a not Mediterranean. It was like a Jamaican fusion restaurant, and it was really good. The Brussels sprouts before the birds pooped in it were so good. So I do recommend that. Yeah, so we did that, and it's always a little chaotic taking Eliza anywhere, but we're trying to get her used to like eating outside at restaurants. So we're working on it. But it was good. Okay. So, and I'm also distracted because Doug is bending over and picking stuff up, and my husband's hot, so, you know. Okay. Anyway, this is a knitting video podcast thing, and I have a finished object that I'm wearing. So this is the Outline Tank by Jessie Maed Designs, and I love it. This is the second one I've knit. The first one was way too big. I substituted a DK weight cotton yarn. I did Cotton DK from Knit Picks the first time, which is a cotton linen blend, and I didn't have fun knitting it. It hurt my hands, and then the way it blocked out, it was just way too big. So this time I used Stress Knits Sport, which is my hand-dyed yarn in the Sport base, which I don't sell normally because it just doesn't sell in the shop, but I'm considering bringing it back on a trial basis occasionally. We'll see though. I'm probably going to dye things that I for sure want to knit with, and then if it doesn't sell, I'll just knit what I want with it. But this is the Eucalyptus colorway. So as you can see, it's pretty large. It's large. I knit the extra large, and because of my gauge, I went up a needle size. I think I used a US 5 with sport weight yarn, and it came out somewhere between the large and the extra large size. So I'm very happy. I would have been a little devastated if it was tighter than this. This is how I like things to fit. I like a lot of positive ease. This is going to be something that I wear like this. I have my yoga bike shorts on right now, so I'm not going to give you like a full visual because it doesn't look great with those, because I'm going to ride my bike after this, and so I just threw the tank top on to show you. but I'll probably wear this with like, I can see myself wearing this with a pair of jeans. I could see myself tucking this into a skirt. I'll wear it under flannels and sweaters in the fall and in the spring. I don't know, it's just a very versatile garment and I really love it. Jessie Maed is a magician. I love everything she makes and it always fits me really, really well. This is the Eucalyptus colorway. I don't know if I said that, but Eucalyptus, my hand-dyed yarn. Yeah, so that is what I finished. And finishing this, oh, another thing that I forgot to mention is I ran out of yarn on this project. I only dyed up 2 skeins of sport weight. I probably would have been fine, but I was a little nervous about doing as much as possible and like maybe only getting one of the cups finished because it's knit bottom up and then you work the front and the back separately and then you work the cups separately. I was really nervous I was going to get 1 cup done and then have this one to do with a whole other skein of yarn that was not a part of the dye lot that I just dyed, and I was nervous it wasn't going to match. So I decided to dye 1 skein of Eucalyptus on sport and it matched perfectly. I was really proud of myself. So like, you can't even tell where there's a new skein because I think I started it here-ish. And this is the back. They're the same. See, they're the same. But I had an oopsie on a part over here on the other side that I would just rather hide. So it's reversible. It's great. I think that's everything about this design. I also got a coffee at Detroit Shipping. So, okay. But finishing this project, because I'd been putting it off because I needed to dye a skein of yarn and I just didn't have time to do it. So once I finally had time to do it, I sat down and I just finished it. And that has really given me the motivation to finish stuff that's on my needles right now, specifically 2 projects. So let's talk about that. I thought this was going to be done by the time I recorded, but it really needs a big block. So I'm letting myself work on it tonight and tomorrow, and then I should be able to block it tomorrow. That's the goal. So this is my Throwover by Andrea Mowry. Yeah. And I love it. Last time you saw it, I was working on the body. I have since finished the body and have finished 1 sleeve. So I would have been done with this, but I'm trying to get better at fixing mistakes and fixing stuff that I don't like. So I finished the first sleeve and I tried on the sweater and it was about 2 inches too short for my liking because I really need to aggressively block this upper part because I have a larger bust than my bust is the fullest measurement of my body. So even though I'm knitting the size 5, which should theoretically give me a couple of inches of positive ease. I think it's a size 50, so that's 8 inches of positive ease. I didn't take gauge for this because I've knit this pattern before, and it looks like my gauge is a bit tighter now. So it's a little bit tighter, so it's kind of between it's about a size 4. Which is fine, but it's just not the amount of ease that I want. There's still some positive ease in the body, but around the bust, it's just a little too tight for my liking. So I'm going to need to aggressively block it. And that means the length of the sweater is going to be a little bit shorter. So I was like, I can block this and I can only wear it like over a dress, but that's really not how I wear sweaters. I usually wear them with pants. And I would like to be able to wear it to work so it can't be like super cropped. I mean, I could wear a cami tucked into my pants and I don't know, do that whole thing, but I decided to pick up right above the ribbing and unpick the bind off and reknit a couple more inches on the body. So overall, I added about 3 inches to the body. and I tried it on after I finished it, and I'm so much happier. I'm so glad I did that. It's going to give me plenty of room to block width-wise, and I'm much more happy with it now. So now I'm working on the sleeve. I'm using stitch markers to mark where I am on the sleeve. This is my favorite trick if you don't know this. So for me, I mark, sorry, there's a helicopter just circling. Got a little distracted. But I mark each decrease with a stitch marker. So for me, I have found that if I knit about every 10 rows and then decrease, I get the perfect fit on my sleeve. So, but I wanted these to be a little bit bigger, so I knit flat for 3, not flat, but I knit without decreases. I keep forgetting to breathe when I'm talking. So forgive me, I'm gonna take a sip of water and regroup and try not to be a toddler who forgets to breathe. Okay. Okay, much better. I'm gonna take a breath and slow down a little bit. So I decided to knit straight for 30 rows, and then this stitch marker is my first decrease, and then everything after these are decreases every 10 rows. And I have pretty short arms, so it doesn't take super long for me to knit a sleeve. But yeah, so as I come to these, I transfer them to here. So this is my first, so I did do the first round of decreases, and that's where my Hello Lavender rainbow stitch marker, my favorite stitch marker in the whole world, that's what that is denoting. And then I've already done 10 rows and I'm working on the next 10. And then this other Hello Lavender stitch marker is where I start decreases. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next day and a half. I'm expecting to have this sleeve done tomorrow night, and then I can give it a nice soak in my Tuft Woolens. Tuft Woolens is a bar soap. This is from Woolberry's winter countdown calendar from last year. It smells so good. But I have a lavender one at our sink downstairs, so I will be using that and just block it out and wait for it to dry. So I'm very excited that this is almost done. I used Stress Knits worsted in Sunflower's the main colorway. It's this beautiful golden brownie yellow. And then Palm Lines is this Barely There pink. Eloise is this mid-range kind of scummy pink. And then Pillow Mint is this bluish mint color. This is one of my favorite color combos. Yeah, so that's my Throwover by Andrea Mowry. And then the other project that I'm going to work on pretty monogamously once I finish the Throwover is my Mooncrush tank. Yes, Mooncrush tank by Jacqueline Cieslak. And I don't know how much I showed you of this, but I paused for a reason. I paused for 2 reasons. I still have all of my my cough drops from when I was sick in here. But I finished the front panel. This is worked in 2 pieces and then you seam them together. But I really struggled with the neckline. So this is a fold over neckline. You're supposed to 3 needle bind off, maybe. You're supposed to fold it over when you're binding off. And I was really nervous it was going to be too tight. So I was like, I'll just sew it down and then that'll be fine. But as I've looked at others, ones, especially people who are not used to this kind of construction. Because for me, when I'm doing a different construction, I get really nervous and my tight gauge gets even tighter. And that's definitely where I am with this. And I'm also not great at picking up stitches. And I don't know, the neckline is just very sloppy because of my knitting. Like, it's just a little too sloppy for me. So what I'm going to do, the good part about this is this collar is already picked up and knit. So I'm going to undo this so that it's just the raw edge. And then once I finish this back panel, which is what I'll be working on next week. That's the wrong side. This back panel, I will block them, seam them together, and then pick up the neckband and do it that way. I think that's going to give me a stretchier neckline and a cleaner neckline. I'm hoping. That feels more familiar to me, and I think that's going to work out better in the long run. So that is the plan with my Moonset. I keep wanting to say Moonset tee, which is a t-shirt by Ozetta that I really want to make. It's really beautiful. I know several people who have made it, and it is just, it's so cute. I really like it. But this is the Mooncrush tank by Jacqueline Cieslak. I am using Purl Soho linen quill in 3 colors. This is Turmeric Yellow, Wheat Flower, and Honey Pink. This is what it looks like. This is an intarsia pattern. And it's also my first time doing intarsia, and I love it. I am knitting a size 6. But I am a tight knitter, and I had to go up to a US 5 to get gauge-ish. And even then it wasn't great, but going up to a 6 was just, like, this is already a pretty thin fabric, pretty loose fabric, because linen quill is a pretty, like, it's a thin fingering weight. So going up to a 5 was already kind of pushing it. I really love linen quill in 4s and 5s. So I stuck with a 5 and did the math to get something around the like 4th or 5th size as far as positive ease, if I'm remembering correctly. But I'm knitting like a size up, 2 sizes up. I'm knitting a size or 2 up from what I would do if I got gauge, to get me close to my size. And I do want it to be pretty boxy, kind of like this outline tank. I have a 42-inch bust, and I really prefer at least 6 inches of positive ease, and I really prefer something closer to 8 or 10 just for my style and how I like to wear things. So that's why I'm like making sure that this is going to work for me. There are also 2 options for length. There's a cropped version and a non-cropped version. I'm doing the non-cropped version, and I actually think this might be pretty long. So we will see. And if I like it enough, I might knit a cropped version. I think that can be fun. But yes, I really like it. I am currently doing the rows that make it the full length version before I get into the chart. I really like this pattern. It's a really good first intarsia pattern. I really love learning new techniques in knitting because I really have to sit down and use my brain. And once I figured it out with the help of Chelsea from Legacy Fiber Arts and a few others, yeah, it really helped. So I really love this pattern. I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy with my color choices too. Oh, yes. And that's everything with my Mooncrush. So that, I'm hoping next time I record at the end of August, I will have a finished Throwover and a finished Mooncrush. That's the plan. That is the plan. Okay, the other project that I will always be working on is my Half+Half Triangles wrap by Purl Soho. I do want to say thank you to everyone who watched my Half+Half tutorial and also gave me all of the encouragement about it. It's my first tutorial. I was really nervous about it, and I kind of recorded it on a whim. I had been planning it, but everyone went to sleep really early and the lighting was really beautiful. So I was like, I'm just gonna try, and it worked out. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think it gives you a good idea if you're struggling specifically with the middle part of the pattern where you transition from one triangle to the second. Yeah, I'm really thrilled that it was well received. So thank you for watching that and leaving nice words about it. That meant a lot to me. But this is my Half+Half that I'm working on now. I'm in the middle of a row because I was working on this at work during a slow period, and then there was more stuff for me to do, so I just kind of threw it down and haven't picked it up since. So this is the Half+Half Triangles wrap by Purl Soho. This is number 5. I think I need to remember this off the top of my head every time. So I knit my first one, my one for mom, my bright flamingo one, my pink tone-on-tone one. Yes, this is 5. And I'm using Lavender Opal linen quill and Butterscotch Yellow. Rumor has it this is coming back in August or September. So stay tuned for that if this is the color you're looking for. It's a really beautiful orangey yellow. It kind of reminds me of butternut squash soup. That's what the color reminds me of. But I'm hoping to have this done by the first day of school, which is September 6th. I think it's September 6th. I would really like to have this done by then, so I definitely have time to do that. And then I will probably cast another one on. Doug and I are going on a trip at the end of September, and I'm very excited about it. I'll tell you all about it after, but we're very excited. And I kind of just want some mindless knitting for the plane. It's a short plane ride, so it's not a big deal. But I think this is just the perfect companion, especially when you're just starting out and those rows are so long. And I'm gonna have like an hour and a half flight time, so I think that will be perfect. So I at least have it done by mid-September and I'll be happy. Yes, so that is everything I've been working on. One of the reasons, sorry, my nose itches really badly. One of the reasons, the main reason why I want to finish everything is that my knitting mojo just keeps coming. And I want to cast on a bunch of stuff, but I'm trying to be really intentional about picking projects that I love and projects that I will wear or projects that other people will wear. So one thing I really want to do is knit Eliza a sweater for fall, a lighter weight sweater. It'll probably be sport weight because I'm also going through a rekindling of love for Spincycle. I went through a really huge Spincycle love. When Eliza was born, I really fell into watching everything about Spincycle, watching interviews, listening to interviews, and really fell in love with the company and the brand. And I don't spin yarn, and I have no desire to ever spin yarn at this moment in time. It doesn't fit my life at this moment. I would much rather learn to sew. That's kind of where I'm at. So having something that looks like handspun is really intriguing to me because it's so beautiful, and I love watching people spin and the yarn that they create. And there have been a lot of patterns released recently that utilize Spincycle and the color shifting of dyed in the wool and dream state specifically. I have a pile over here that's just really making my heart happy. And the way that the colors move within Spincycle is very fun for me. And yeah, so I have a few projects that I'm looking to cast on. One is obviously the new Andrea Mowry pattern, the Rhinebeck sweater Alpenglow. I'm not going to Rhinebeck. I'm not going to Rhinebeck. I'm not ready for that. But I really love the sweater. And I even bought the Magpie dyed in the skein, which is the same dyed in the wool base, which I love. It's so springy and it feels really good in my hands. I love knitting with it. But dyed in Magpie colorways, and I've never bought Magpie fibers before, and I've always been in love with their color palette. And so I bought my Magpie, and I am trying to figure out what dyed in the wool, the Spincycle colorways that I'm going to purchase, because so this is twofold. I'm telling you way too much about this, but I'm very excited, and I've tried to explain it to Doug, and he's like, that sounds cool, but he has no idea, right? It's like when he tells me about his new camera lens, and I'm like, cool. So I'd rather geek out with you. So I have wanted to do a virtual Spincycle shop since they started about a year ago with their flagship store. So you can book a virtual appointment. There is a deposit, but that deposit goes towards your final amount. And I booked it for Friday, and I'm so excited because there are certain colorways of Spincycle that I love, but I only love very specific skeins of it. And it's hard sometimes for me to verbalize what I'm looking for. And so there are colorways like Ghost Ranch that can be like super blue or super purple or yellow or pink. And I know like I could look at a skein of Ghost Ranch and be like yes or no, but I can't verbally explain what I'm looking for. So that is something I'm looking to purchase. And I'm also looking for skeins of Stay Ready, which I have a skein of Dream State. It's their neutral color, but it's like blacks and browns and grays and creams and whites, and I just think it's really beautiful. So Ghost Ranch and Stay Ready are the two that I like very specific versions. Also Wolo, I think that's what it's called, but there are a few that are in my brain that I'm like, I really want to see what they look like. And then I'm thinking either using Stay Ready or Ghost Ranch with my Alpenglow. And my color combination for this, I'm doing mint green necklines and wrists, and then the contrast like chevron part is going to be the it's like a burnt orange color. It's beautiful. And then the body is called Bougie Beaver, which is so funny, and it's actually very similar to this is Eloise, so it's very similar to my Eloise colorway. And I almost just dyed my own, but I really am trying to use other makers' yarn that makes me happy, and those colors made me happy, and knowing it's on the same dyed in the wool base, I just decided to go for it. So I'm very excited. But the other reason that I've been on a Spincycle kick is because this time next year, I would like to cast on officially my Shifty sweater by Andrea Mowry in all Spincycle, which is a luxury, but it's something that I'm going to pick up a skein or two here or there throughout the year. And I already have some skeins that may or may not be in there, but I just really want to create a beautiful palette of shifting colors in this sweater. And I really love the silhouette of the sweater, and yeah, so I have a few colorways here that I've collected over the past year so far. And I just want to share them with you because I really love them. So the first one, the one that I've been playing with, is Deep Bump. And I really love the blue minty versions of Deep Bump. So got that. And then this is their Nocturne in the Flashback colorway. I just really love this as well. And Nocturne is dyed in the wool, but it's a darker base, so the colorways are a little bit more moodier. A little bit moodier, not more moodier. Yes, I really love that. And then I also have 2 skeins of Miss Me, dyed in the wool. And I just love them so much. So I have colorways that I'm very intrigued to see on my virtual shopping trip. And I haven't been buying yarn, so it feels, I'm excited to buy a little bit of yarn. Just see how it goes. I think that's all knitting yarn related. I'm gonna do a little bit of Stress Knits news, which is my hand-dyed yarn. If you are not interested, that's okay. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you are interested, let's chat. So behind me, you will see that I have been dyeing yarn and it feels really good, but I'm still trying to figure out when the next shop update is going to be. That's not going to make me fully stress out, and I'm leaning towards September 1st. So stay tuned. I don't have a newsletter, just not enough hours in the day, but if you follow me on Instagram, I will have everything there, and I will try to do announcements at least a week in advance of when the update is going to be, hopefully 2 weeks in advance, but I am slowly, there's 100 skeins drying behind me, so I'm trying. But I also think it's important to reiterate that I am one person that does all of the prepping, dyeing, scanning, shipping. So it can be a little overwhelming, and I'm also about to go headfirst into winter countdown mode. I have designed all but 4 colorways, and I'm so excited. I'm planning on making a sweater with this set. I'm very excited about it. I think I'm going to make the stripes by Andrea Mowry. I'm really excited about this winter countdown. It's my last one, and it's going to be really good. So they have all sold. I'm going to try to dye a few extras. We'll see if that's possible. I do have a number in my head, but I also don't want to stress out like I was last year. So we're gonna try that. Yeah, that is basically everything that's been going on. It's starting to get a little dark. We're probably approaching 8:30. So thank you for stopping in and hanging out with me. I love talking yarn and knitting with you. It feels so good to talk to you about this stuff. And I will see you at the end of August.